And today I'm going to talk about mindset and practice. Now, last time I spoke to you, about looking internally, looking at our fears, looking at what is going on for us. Because we have a tendency when we're worried and frightened about something to push it all down inside. We have a tendency to suppress it, bottle it up, think that if we ignore it, it will go away. Or often, and this is what I often did, often we are even worse than that. When we feel the fear coming up, we tell ourselves to stop being so stupid, that it's not really a fear, that we need to just get on with life. And we have this tendency to push down the fear. So last time I was talking about how actually turning and looking at that fear, asking yourself about that fear, what that could do for you and how it can free you up, because fear and shame thrive in the dark. And if you want to look at any videos about this, Brené Brown is a great place to go to find some talk about feeling vulnerable and facing your fears and shame and that area. So she's a great place to start with that. Today, I want to talk more practically about what we can do in our practicing, and how we can, by changing the way we think about our practicing, actually achieve more. So when we look, I'm trying to remember where I started last time. I think when I started last time, I was talking about that fear of judgment by our audience, that we all, as performers, that's our biggest fear. We fear the judgment of our audience, and we go out there wanting to get positive judgment, wanting them to approve of us. And their opinion becomes so important to us. They become judge and jury and sometimes executioner. And that makes sense on one level. But on another level, they're human. They come to our performances with all their faults and all their experiences. And that's not just their experiences. Say it's an audition panel. It's not just their experiences as performers and teachers and audition panelists. It's also their experiences of the day. They may well have had a bad day. They may have bumped into somebody that they haven't seen for years and be having a good day. And that will affect their judgment. And often we supplant their judgment of us for our judgment of us. Now, I've mentioned actually in another part of my life where I mentor coaches, I was talking to them about Nancy Klein, and she's written a wonderful book called Time to Think, and I'm currently reading the second book, More Time to Think. And in that, she talks about appreciation and our need for appreciation. And as performers, often that appreciation takes the form of applause and compliments from our audience. And we feed off that. And I've known singing teachers say, well, that's all we live for. I think that's a dangerous perspective practice. And how one of the tips that Nancy talks about is asking ourselves, what would we want them to say to us? In an ideal world, if we're looking for them to appreciate us, what would we want them to say? Would we want them to say, wow, that was an amazing performance. I loved the way you glided over those top notes, and I love the emotion you put into it. And it's funny, once you start to say you want other people to say to you, it often kicks you into a different gear where you go, yeah, no, it was good. Actually, what I think is I could have improved that section. Or I could have had more support in this section. Or the words didn't feel authentic in that section. And you start to do the analysis of yourself in a less defensive way than we often do when we are seeking that appreciation. And what I want to say to you today is, your opinion matters. It really matters. And you have the ability to properly appraise your own work. You may be like me. You may hate to record yourself and listen back to it. And actually, that's one of the most effective tools. And we hate to listen because we have that critical voice. We have that, oh, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I sang that. That sounded awful. And actually, if you then say, okay, what's your opinion? You can come back to yourself in an adult. You can come back and go, yeah, I think this section was really good. I think the next bit I want to work on is that section. And then we start thinking about improvement. We think about next time. We think about what we can do in the rehearsal room. And that will transform how you practice, because it will allow you to move into that space of deliberate, or more accurately, specific practice, where you are working on the sections that you feel need the most work. Now, add into that deliberate practice, and deliberate practice being where you bring in another expert to look at you and give you tips that you wouldn't otherwise know, like singing teachers. And then you take it up to the next level. But the first level you can do by yourself. The first level of identifying the areas that you think could do with work. And that way you can go into the rehearsal room and you can make use of that time. I bet you will also find that the rehearsal room might feel less daunting, especially when you've got something big coming up, or you feel that you want to work on something for a particular reason, or you feel particularly under pressure. If you go in with that mindset of, I'm going to listen to myself, I'm going to hear what I think could do with some improvement, and I'm going to work out the best way of improving that, then those fears that we have that muddle our head will calm, and you will find yourself making much more effective use of that practice time. And then you can then layer on it and take the same process when you have a teacher come in and give you feedback. You can go, okay, that's their opinion. What's my opinion of their opinion? Do they have a point? That hurt? Yeah, I don't like that I made that mess, but do they have a point? Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's their own shit that they're bringing to the room. And sometimes they do, even if they said it in a way that was bringing their own shit to the room. Sometimes underneath the way somebody's saying something, they might have a point, and you might go, yeah, I actually think they were right on that. And then you can take that back to the rehearsal room, the practice room, and you can put that into your processing and go, okay, I would like to improve that. How am I going to improve that? So if there's one thing I'd like you to take away from today, it is that your opinion counts. It matters. And one way of getting to your true opinion is to give yourself the appreciation that you are seeking from other people. Brilliant performance. Hold on. Yeah, it was all right, but actually there are areas I can improve. You will find that that's what frees up. When you give yourself the appreciation you are seeking, it allows you to be more analytical about what you're doing. So I hope that helps. If you have any feedback on what I'm saying or what you'd like to hear, then put that in the comments below. I also want to make an announcement because I am now opening up my 5-day challenge. So in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be doing a 5-day challenge. I've never done one before, so this is new to me, but it's where I'm going to take you through 5 steps to improve. You don't have to have a performance to upcoming, because I know so many people are struggling for performances. You don't have to have a performance upcoming like next week or the week after. It can be something you can do in the practice room because it's all about mindset. So if you'd like to join me for my 5-day challenge, then click on the link that is in the box. As I don't know if it's there. I can't remember with Facebook Lives. I can't remember if it's there already, but click on the link that will be published when I publish this at least, and join me for my 5-day challenge. I will be back here next Wednesday at 1:30 to talk to you all again. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.